Guys, welcome back to another episode of Roaming Talk. And today we're going to be talking about the foundation of accuracy. Where you at? You picked this title.
Well, start off with, what happens typically the foundation when somebody brings you a gun, a gun, they make an appointment for what you call it?
A one-on-one or a test and tune?
A test and tune.
Yeah,
Thank you. I couldn't think about it.
Yeah.
A TT.
Yep.
And what do you go? What do you do?
First thing when they walk in the door, we ask, man, you mind if I go through your gun? So the first thing we do is the foundation. We go back, strip it down all the way down to the rail, make sure things are torqued properly on the rail. They're Loctited. Go to the rings. But I always like to see, because I'll tell them, look, and they'll say, well, so-and-so put it on, it's going to be good. And it's, no offense to so-and-so, but normally so-and-so
screw up.
Yeah, or wrong. And I mean, and saying that, and I'm talking about places that shouldn't be screwing it up, that do it on the daily. And so I ask every time, and I'm not saying we never screw up. So I make mistakes. But every gun that comes through here, we have, I think we said on the last episode, somewhere around 900 people. That's not counting guns. That's counting individuals. And that's all that was in the system, not to mention just the walk-ups and all. But every one of those guns, except for maybe 5 or 10, are not set up properly.
Yeah, I kind of find it funny that in the whole mini 48 weeks that I've been doing this, a few guys bring me their guns and ask me, "Hey man, you mind bore sighting this? You mind mounting the scope checking?" Oh, I brought it. I just bought this gun and bought it from such and such gun shop or such and such,
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that things aren't to spec.
No.
Something's either over torqued, or not torqued.
Yeah, and I would prefer it the latter. I'd rather it be under torqued because I could fix that. A lot of times when they're over torqued.
So what happens when it's over torqued?
Over torqued, that tube smashed, and you just don't get the. Typically, you either can't get parallax back or the adjustment of the scope itself, the minutes dialing or the mils, whatever you want. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so
all right. So when you were discussing that, you mentioned something, Loctite.
Yeah. So the bases only. I don't Loctite the ring to itself, not the clamshells. Only the base to the rifle.
Okay. I'm jumping around, but he now said ring.
You heard me. You heard what I said.
Rings or mounts?
Rings.
Ooh. Here's another one.
Why rings?
Well, I prefer rings because on the mount, now before I say this, anything that comes loose is going to affect accuracy. Now that being said, one thing on a mount can throw it off. All right, on the rings, we've noticed that on rings only, if a front ring is slightly loose on one screw or whatever, it will affect it, but it's usually not as much. So there's a good side to it, meaning they can get by a little bit on that. But the bad side is it makes me scratch my head. What is going on? Why is this thing off? But that goes with either one of them. But
well, I think whenever you look at it, and I dove into this, and you know me, Google is my friend.
Yeah.
One thing with rings, I think that happens with hunting guns is rings are less expensive than mounts.
Mm-hmm.
Also, rings are lighter than mounts.
Yeah.
So you typically are looking at a budgetary issue that you maybe don't want to spend as much money because your average mount is $250 to $300. Some of the more expensive mounts can get as expensive as $500 a mount.
Yeah, I mean the rings we put on are freaking $200 and something. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And then you got a base that goes, the Picatinny rail. Mm-hmm. I mean, depending on which one you use, and really, I haven't found a benefit to a high dollar one versus a medium grade one. Mm-hmm. We have found on some of the cheaper ones that you have more slop in them. But we run a lot of EGWs and of course Night Force tallies. We run a lot, that in that realm of Picatinny rails, but they can be anywhere from $60. Let's say $60 on average. You can get some of the EGWs maybe a little cheaper, but then the Night Force, I think they're like $175 or something like that. So cost is not huge, but weight is, but you got to have a Picatinny rail regardless, or you have a integrated one, whether it's on an AR platform or a bolt action rifle.
Would a good procedure to follow, which I kind of like on my PRS rigs, and I've gotten to where now I swap scopes. It's kind of crazy. I swap scopes.
It is ridiculous.
Well, no, but not just. I'm not scared to swap a scope now and do things and re-zero. It's kind of like, whereas it was like, oh my God, I got to mount this scope, and it was so much of a process. And
3 shots.
Yeah. So I typically, for the few scopes that I've mounted for a few friends, is look, if this scope is going to be on this gun, which most hunters do.
Yeah.
Would it be a good rule to just go ahead and Loctite everything? Because if they're never going to,
I've had them. Well, I mean, we've had them come back to the shop and then they try to take them off, or even us trying to take them off. Sometimes they want to strip when they're Loctited. So
because it does that little aluminum screw.
Yeah, if you ever want to change it, or it's harder for us to check sometimes if they're torqued as well. Like we've had some that are 8 inch-pounds torqued, but you can't see it. With a Loctite in it, you can't feel it, and then it's like, man, nothing's moving. All of a sudden, crack. Oh well, now we're at 12 inch-pounds.
Yep.
Let's crank her on up to 18. So we want to get that pressure even all around the ring.
Okay. All right.
But what's the next one?
Let's see.
So,
scope mounting. Yep.
So we did the scope mounting, and we level also. They have guys that use the 6-foot levels and the strings, and yes, that's more accurate. We use the Wheeler level system is what we use, and it works great. No issues. Then we typically put a level on our scopes when we're shooting long range, just to combat cant best we can. Then we check action screws. That's the next thing we check. The reason we check action screws is they're loose a lot of the time, especially the guys that come in and we're troubleshooting. That's not the number one thing. The number one.
What is the number one?
The number one thing is the scopes are under torqued or over torqued. That's number one, and it's every gun, especially every gun that comes in here with a problem. It's, man, I can't get it to zero. I can't get it to zero, and in 10
most
minutes.
of the time it's loose.
Yeah,
there's something loose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The rail or a ring is something's loose.
Yeah. So we had a guy come in today, and he had, and on episode 1 or 2, whatever, we talked about Bagaras, and you get a lot of hate. They get a lot of hate online, dude. Show me one. Show me a shooter and show me one. That the only one I've ever seen. One of the members here had a 308 and it didn't shoot. But other than that, they've all shot. Now they may take 10, 15 shots to file in and get them dirty until they start shooting. But anyway, guy today had a 7 PRC. Went through it. You talked about bore sighting. I don't bore sight anything, especially I don't even own a bore sighter. Don't use them.
When I say bore sight, it's pull the bolt out, look down the bore.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
and on average, I can zero a rifle in 3 shots.
Absolutely.
On average. So usually takes me 3 bullets. This one took me 4. Shouldn't have.
Suck.
Yeah, I know. But I went anyway. No excuse. So, but anyway, so I took his gun and it was never been fired. I asked old boy, I said, man, you want to shoot the first round out of it before I get after you? I ask everybody. And because some people are sentimental like that, the guy said, I don't care, man, shoot that thing. I said, all right. Took it and at 200 yards, went out to 200. I was a minute low, minute left after bore sighting. Cranked it back up. Minute and minute. Shot it, smoked the 200, brought it back in, went to the 100, and I was just off on target, and I dialed, corrected, shot it, overcorrected, come back down the 2 clicks and set a 0 stop. Never even shot the last shot because it was a ½ inch off, and then went straight to the 1,000 with it. So I was trying to remember if I went to 8 or 8 or 1,000.
You said?
No, this is a 7 PRC.
Okay.
Yep. And put the ballistics back in, applied ballistics, and set him up, put him on the gun, walked it straight out, and gun shot great. But, we went through all of our techniques, which we're not going to talk about all our techniques on here, but went through it with him, did a good one-on-one. Guy said he hadn't shot. I forgot where he said he's been. He hadn't shot in years. And then, man, he was fist bumping and high five, and just like everybody is, I was the same way. Man, 1,000 yards, what? And he rolled it out, and then he ended up shooting another 2 boxes of ammo after that. He said, "What now?" I said, "It's your baby now." You tell me, I'm spotting.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Bagara. I've got a 7 PRC Bagara, and I had about 200, 250 rounds, and it just started opening up. Mm-hmm. I reached out to Bagara. They said, "Hey, send it back," and they did range test on it. Sure enough, it failed. Range test.
Were you shooting it for the range test?
No.
Okay.
They shot it for the range test.
And, it's been verified that it was not the shooter.
Didn't get a note back in that box that said you suck, right?
No, that was when I sent the Vortex Furies back. That's a story for another day.
It wasn't the Vortex's fault.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was the guy pushing the buttons.
Yeah, that was funny.
Story another day. But anyway, they did a range test, and sure enough, it failed.
Yep.
Did a test on it, sent it back with a range, the bullet, the ballistics, and a little picture and a little card, and it was a 10-week turnaround. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that ain't bad, especially out of season. In season, that sucks.
Yeah.
But so, and that's been all the Bagaras we've shot. We're not paid by Bagar. They don't even know we exist. We're just, we're just talking about what works and what doesn't work, and that's all. If I don't have any experience with it on here, you're not going to hear me talk about it, or I'm going to say I don't know. So it's I'm not sponsored by anybody, and so I'm not going to try to blow smoke up your butt. We have the Night Force stuff up behind us and some other stuff because that's what stuff. We have a shop, we sell it, and we not only do we sell it, we use it, and if we use it, we're going to sell it. We'll stand behind it, but we're not going to. Say something's good and not, sorry guys, we're on an open range, and looks like somebody's getting ready to try to come in the door. But anyway, so what was your next topic?
Rings, but I guess foundation actually going through the gun, the rifle, scope, it going and it shooting. I guess that's all the foundation. I guess let's talk about maybe now what's more accurate, steel or carbon barrels.
It's not apples to apples. That's apples to oranges. From what we've shot out here, we're a hunting company, so everything we're going to do is going to be to cut weight and be accurate. So the best bang for the buck that we found, not bang for the buck, but the best combination that we found is carbon 6 barrels. So, and guys, again, we're not sponsored by them. Even though I got a hat, that's just because we buy a bunch of barrels from them. But they have it figured out. So we've shot some other brands and don't like them just because we have to lay off of them. The carbon shoots like the steel does. You can sit there and shoot a bunch of steel number 5 barrels, and you can continue shooting. But what's a number 5 barrel weigh, Christopher?
A lot. I'm not going to throw numbers out there because I don't have all that in front of me. But
why not?
It's significantly more.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's substantial more. So our total build weighs. Okay, let me back up. Our build with the stocks that we use, with the barrel we use, and the action of the trigger, it weighs 6.3 pounds on a long action when it's built out. If I were to put, and that's with a 20-inch barrel, if I were to put a steel barrel, same diameter on there, you're talking about a 10-pound gun. You ever picked up a little, them little shorties, steel shorties with a bull barrel on them?
I thought you were about to say Little Debbie.
Where? Yeah, but when you pick them up, you're like, oh goodness, So it's a chunk. The things we weigh, we throw them on our backpacks to go hunt. And, the things we have, we throw them on the backpacks to go hunting, and you don't even know they're there, really.
And I can say this: I watched going back to Colorado.
Yeah,
I've watched you, for lack of a better word, abuse a barrel.
Oh yeah. Carbon 6 hates me. They don't hate me; they hate the way I treat their barrels.
And they still produce.
Yeah, Yeah, we've got some up there. Creedmoors with 5,500 rounds in them now. PRCs at 6.5 PRCs with 2,400 rounds in them, and I mean we abuse them. I mean, we don't let up on them. The only time we stop shooting them is when the Mirage is too bad coming through the barrel or the can, and the can's got a wrap on it. So it's
and sometimes the wrap is smoking hot.
Yeah. So,
you can't touch the wrap.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't let freaks beat me in a game of horse.
Yeah. And it's happened.
I've had Chris, and we've done this before. We had to hold the barrel coolers, the blowers on the barrel on the outside, not inside, so you can see through the Mirage to shoot the next shot. So. But yeah, I mean, we beat the crap out of them. Yeah. But that's the reason why we go carbon. And Carbon 6 has it figured out. A bunch of the other companies that we've used and that comes through here, man, sometimes you get, let's say, 8 shots on a high end before they start walking. And a lot of times it's 3, 4, 5 shots, just like a pencil steel barrel. So we get the reason why we run what we run. They're lightweight and they can take the abuse.
Well, pulling weight out the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Accuracy, though.
I mean, we shoot golf balls at shot number 60.
But what I'm saying is there really any difference in accuracy of a steel barrel or a carbon barrel?
You got me. I'm thinking, again, it's not an apples to apples thing. So it's not.
I would think
it was not that easy of a question. I'm going to say they can both be as accurate.
Yeah.
I could take a precision cut barrel, which is the basis of some of the barrels, and put it up against a Carbon 6. One having let's go apples to apples. You got the grouping of that 6.5 PRC?
Yeah.
Fair. So this is what we did with one. That was 6 shots with a 6.5 PRC, and we pulled 1 shot. And Chris, I don't remember if you encouraged me or told me not to do it, but I had 5 shots in there, and they were 1 hole.
It gets to a point that it's almost impossible to measure these things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say impossible.
Well,
everything's possible to measure, but it gets to a point. It's like, what else are you looking for in a barrel?
Yeah, and we talk a lot about it. I've got, my friends that we talk a lot about PRS, and
that's 2 different games.
But you can go out there and you can run a match with a half MOA gun.
Oh, absolutely.
All day.
Or any sub MOA gun.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to
MOA
read
gun.
Yeah, an MOA gun.
Yeah.
You can win a match all day. You got to learn to read and win.
Right.
So at a certain point when you start to looking at, it's a 0.3, 0.2, 0.4.
But how is your confidence, right? If your gun is shooting at 0.3, 0.2, what is that doing to your ego and your confidence, right?
Well, my ego sometimes is deflated.
Well, we know that.
And it should be.
But if I know that bullet is touching at 100 yards and hole within hole,
absolutely.
It's going to translate 500,000 yards for sure.
But it goes back to being able to read the wind. I mean, because if you can, half MOA, that 500 yards, I mean, you're 5 inches.
No
you
doubt.
should be able to hit a 5-inch plate at 500 yards. Yeah, 1 MOA. 2.5-inch plate. I know. Here we go with my math again.
Check out the 22 Creedmoor.
Yeah, 20% of 20 shots is not 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting back to, if you can shoot half MOA group, you can hit a plate and everything's MOA plates, mostly, if not bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It's reading the wind.
Oh, we've had some guns that have come out here that have been shooting 2 MOA. And when I'm saying that, the client's shooting it. So sometimes I don't even get to shoot the gun. I like to. My standard procedure is give me 2 shots. Give me 2 shots on your gun before I start teaching you.
But if he really likes the gun, he'll take 4 or 5.
Give me that box.
Yeah. Let me see. It's just not quite shoot. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll tell them, typically I say, give me 2 shots with the gun. Let me just see if it's repeatable. If it's repeatable, then we can do something with it, and do something with the student. So, but I try not to be offensive to everybody. Not offensive.
That was the right word.
Well, no, to you, that's, I'm trying to build confidence. That's what we're trying to do here. Other than yours, we're trying to build confidence out here. So, so rather than telling that person you suck, get off the gun, let me see it. And which I've done that, but I didn't say you suck. But I was just like, hey man, let me see it for a second. Let me see if I can work something out. And sometimes it's parallax, or sometimes it's ammunition, or sometimes it's something was loose or whatever. It all depends on what they're here for. But I've seen guns that clients were shooting a 2-inch group at 100 yards, and just to get their mind off of that, trying to group at 100, because I'll pull my hair out sometimes shooting at 100. Sometimes I just can't group. But I'll tell them to start walking them out, and before I know it, we're at 700-800 yards, and they're still hitting steel, with a 2 MOA gun. So
you touched on Parallax. Can you effectively discuss Parallax, and give a good example while obviously on this, and tell them what Parallax is? And
Parallax is the knob on the left hand side of the scope that adjusts the tube inside the gun to put the crosshairs, your eyeball, and the target all back in the same plane. It is not a focus knob. Focus is a byproduct of that knob. So if it's not right and you not do a nod check on it, you'll see the crosshairs floating. Well, if you're putting your cheek here this time and then forward on the next one, or up a little bit or whatever, every time you move, that bullet is moving. So if you're not grouping, that's why and your gun is capable of grouping.
Yeah. So Parallax being adjusted to where when you do the nod test, your crosshairs do not move.
Right. They're not floating. That's the lack of better term.
Sometimes it's not going to be crystal clear.
Right. Oh yeah. Sometimes it's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially depending on if you've got mirage coming off your can or gun or whatever, or mirage day.
Yeah. I think, being a juvenile shooter that's my focus knob, and you focus it when it's clear. Hey, you.
Yeah, I walked into some local gun shops and just you're not eavesdropping, but you're overhearing conversations while you're in there. And I heard the clerk telling one guy, "Yeah, this is your focus knob," and my skin started to crawl. And I was like, "It's not your place. It's not your place.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah,
stay in your lane. Yeah. Walk away. Yeah. Walk away."
Yeah, and that was before we got our stuff. But anyway, so in doing all this though, the foundation of accuracy, it sets you up for success, and it sets you up for confidence. If you're not confident in your rifle and doesn't know your rifle can hit the golf ball,
you're not going to hit it.
You're not going to hit it.
And if your rifle doesn't know, you got to show it the way.
Yeah.
You just give it to a pro, and then it's possible, right?
Yeah.
It's like buying the best set of golf clubs out there.
Oh, man.
You may not be able to use them, but you see the pros use them.
Yeah.
So all this is done. And now we're going to zero our gun.
Okay.
How many shots?
Depends on the gun. So if the gun is capable, like I said, on average I can do it in 3 shots.
Okay.
Now, this is not on a one small little piece of paper, guys, before I start getting some feedback on that. What we do, we have a 200-yard steel target that has dirt all around it. I shoot at that target, and if I miss, I see my impact, and I dial from the target to my impact. And now I'm on steel from there, back it to 100. And then when I get to 100, and I'm shooting on a 4x8 sheet of paper out there with a target, and I can pick my target up, my impact normally, and then I can dial it to that and then bring it in. So there's no super secret to that. That's just the process I use, and that's why I'm able to dial them in so fast. So if I was out trying to shoot at an election sign or not on the road, but here. If I was just trying to shoot at what I'm talking about, the little corrugated plastics.
Look, there's one. Let's go. Let's
Clarification on that one.
By the stop sign, by the intersection.
Yeah, let's zero.
I feel like a memory was just triggered just now.
When we used to have
that one time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll never do it again.
When we had the old range at the house, people would just show up with them all the time. So that's why that stuck in my head. Somebody brought, I think it might have been my older brother, brought like a 3x8 or something one time. That thing, I think, still over
Was
there.
it before the election or after?
It was after. Matter of fact, it's not there. Don't come looking. But anyway, we're not shooting at a small piece of paper. We're shooting at something we can see. So that's the method I use, and that's why we're able to dial them in so fast. And like that old boys today, I didn't even take the last shot. I mean, that gun walked in so perfect on the feedback. It was taking the feedback I was giving it. I come down the 2 clicks.
Yeah, when it goes the way you click, you have a lot of confidence that it's tracking and doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Right. So
it's when you're at 200 yards and you're shooting at 200 yards, and you hit the plate, and then you come and at 200 yards, you should be able to be within the 4 inches of that where your bullseye at 100, and
give or take, yeah.
And if you shoot and you're 3 inches right, and then you dial it over 10 clicks, and then all of a sudden it stays right there, then it starts, big question mark goes off in your mind.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, I've had that happen too, or take it double. Or a big indicator is if the scope's been crushed or if it's over torqued is you shoot that one shot and you give it the feedback and it shoot it again, it's in the same spot. You're like, man, I just moved it 3 minutes.
All right, but so let's talk about this, which I was going to lead into. Sighting in a rifle after summertime, you've cleaned the gun. Gun is clean, barrel's clean, gun's been up. You take it, and that guy goes and tries to sight in his rifle. How many shots? How many shots?
I don't know. I've seen it take as many as 15, depending on how deep they cleaned it. But on average, 4 or 5 foulers. But I have seen guys chase it, and then it take 3 boxes of ammo. So what I mean by chase it is they're not letting it start grouping before they start adjusting.
And you automatically go to, I must have bumped it.
Yeah, I must have bumped it. And then you start,
I must
Did the
have
gun
bumped
shoot
it
last year?
Yeah.
What was the one variable?
Yeah.
So we get that.
And but that something I didn't realize. Looking back, what almost every hunter in South Louisiana or Mississippi does, they clean their gun, they put it up, they come out, they take their first shot, they're 2 to 3 inches high right,
dude,
and it's like they
and
shoot again.
Everything starts changing.
Oh yeah,
so checking
and the second shot is high left, and it's like, whoa, wait a second.
Then they sling 4 or 5. Now the barrel's hot. Now they're slinging even more, and they're frustrated. But dude, I've had, and I'm guilty of doing this myself, so I'm not pointing it just at anybody, but I've had this happen countless times. So guys will drop their firearms off with me to be sighted in, and they'll come back and pick them up that afternoon, the next day or whatever, which I typically like the client to shoot the gun themselves. So if they drop it off with me, we'll shoot them in, and then when they get here, we'll shoot them. But I've had some that didn't do that, and then they took the gun home and cleaned it and then called me, man, it's not zeroed. I was like, bull.
Liar.
Yeah. We're about to fight. Yes, it was zero. Bring it back. So they bring it back. And then, and not just that, I've had them do it with their own rifles with me not even being involved. They're like, it shot last time before I went out. I don't understand why it's not shooting. I'm just coming here before I go to the camp to go go hunt or whatever. Why is it not shooting? I'm like, shoot a couple more, bro. Because I know what you did. I know you went home after last season and you cleaned it. Or you went to the range the other day and you went home and cleaned it. So you don't have a fouler during hunting. PRS matches, NRLs, all them other, you got foulers. You don't have a fouler at deer camp. So
big misconception.
Yep.
Don't clean your gun, put it up, and then go expect that it's going to be on.
Right.
And even if you think, oh, I did not bump it,
right,
I'm good. You cleaned it. It's going to be off, especially a 200-yard shot.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. If it's off a minute and a half, 2 minutes, now you're bumping. If you're not in the kill zone, if you weren't aiming perfectly in the kill zone, now you're out it. Now you just gut shot one or brisket or no man's land or whatever, or missed it.
Yeah. So how many shots fouler? At least.
I'd say minimum of 5.
Me too. At least 5. At least 5. And then 3-shot group, good enough after that 5? 5-shot?
I mean, if I got confidence in the gun, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll shoot 2 shots.
But
I like a 5-shot group, but 2 shots is more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
When it walks back in and hits 0, I'm pretty confident at that point. So. What about you, Christopher?
Depending what your ego's feeling. If it's feeling pretty good, let's go 5 shots and measure that group, right?
Yeah. Not 6.
It's always it's always the 5th shot.
Right. If the loads seem a little sketchy, 3.
Yeah. Who's loading these?
No doubt. You're always going for that stupid great group, and you're shooting. You shot that 4th shot, and you're like,
oh yeah,
and then it's like, all right, well, one more, and you just know when you're squeezing the trigger that this is possibly a mistake.
Yeah.
Take the 4 and say it's 5. You can't tell.
Yeah.
Boom, out the group.
Yep. Oh yeah, wrong target. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're messing up when you squeeze the trigger.
I know it. The same as that one we just looked at with Chris. And then, did you get any of them other pictures I sent you earlier on the Google Drive?
Y'all talk. I'll pull that up.
So you can find just some of those like shotgun looking patterns on there. So we talked about this earlier. We talked about this in our class. You know, we were always taught here in South Louisiana, 5 in the pie plate, plenty good. You know, more like 5 in the saucer or better. But I mean, it's I've grew up with some guys that I thought were excellent shots. You know, and kind of find out, yeah, they and then it's not any fault of their own. I mean, they can still shoot with what they have, but the technology has just changed so much on the. Not even mentioning scopes, but ammunition, rifling, the barrels. I mean, everything has changed so much. But I mean, I had the old 5 in the pie plate when I was younger, and I didn't have a deer on my pie plate that afternoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's why we like going tighter. Can you kill a deer with a 2 and 3 minute gun? A lot of we get a lot of these automatic rifles that come out, not AR style. But hunting semi-automatic rifles.
Old Browning.
I wasn't gonna name
no,
names,
but I got one. I mean, the Brown. I shot many a deer with that Browning automatic.
Yeah, and got it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and dude, it'll make me pull because I want them right when they leave. You know what I mean?
There's a different side of analness.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so I mean, I can get them usually. You know, I'm not gonna say how good I can get their groups. I mean. Never under 1.5 MOA. It's never under 1.5 MOA. It's always more. And I know I'm going to get some hate for that, but guys, especially these new ones, I got one at the shop right now. We're getting ready to thread, and I didn't want to thread it. Because I mean, I watched it shoot, you know, and then it was one of the better ones, which is around 1.5 2 inch group. But they just don't, because for one, on the Brownings, the new ones, that the stud for the swivel for your sling is welded to the barrel. So anytime you change tension or rest it on something or anything, now your bullets are impacting differently. So, so that's why we want a floated barrel, and those aren't floated. Those are just made to pretty much. They're pretty. They're pretty is one of the prettiest rifles on the market, but it's a spray and pray type situation. You found one, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some groups here, and you can see.
Yeah, that was one we walked in. I think that was a Creedmoor. That was on the old range. That I mean, you see how we walked it in and then just grouped it up. I don't think I could see.
This one right here too.
Yeah, that's another good one. I can't read what the MOA is on it, but that was a 7. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, it's.
Does it say it?
Just blurred out in the corner.
That's aggravating.
Adjusted.
Yeah,
but I mean, you could tell, right?
Yeah.
The size of that X.
Yeah, I think is that a 1/2 inch or 1 inch? I don't remember what size that one was. Anyway, but that's, I mean, you see when the first shot was low and then
here's a better one right here.
Yeah.
You can read that one.
Yeah.
4-shot group.
Yeah. That looks like a 7. And there's one that's all scattered.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be a Browning.
This one.
Nah. Was that the full picture?
That was pretty scattered.
Yeah, that's not the Browning. That wasn't that BAR, excuse me.
That one?
No. Maybe I didn't send it to you. That one. Yeah. That was the best I could get that gun to shoot. And I don't have any hair left because of that one. And that was one of my first, because that was one of the first Browning. That was 8 years ago? 7, 8 years ago? Something like, anyway.
Browning's still more difficult to rebarrel though, too, right?
Yeah. They
a little bit more difficult than most.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of Brownings and I love Brownings, but you know.
Oh yeah, my wife has now we've learned a lot with Browning. They went with the long range pros. That's what my wife, after her elk hunt that we talked on the previous podcast, that she wanted more knockdown power, that more than that 30-06. So she went and bought Browning X-Bolt long range pro, and
chambered in
300 Win Mag. Yeah, she don't care. She's take that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Not me.
Yeah,
we still got to do that video.
Yeah,
right. 300 PRC knocking me off.
Yeah.
300 Win Mag.
300 Win Mag.
300 Win Mag.
700. What was it? 7 Rim Mag. That's the worst.
Oh, on me, I hate them.
And for you to say that,
I hate the 7 Win Mags.
Goodness, what it's going to do to me
without any type of brake or suppressor.
Oh yeah,
and
the old
bare barrel
Ruger boat paddle. Oh.
it's
I hate
going
them
to hurt you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't care to shoot a 7. Now 7 PRC, I love them, but that 7 Win Mag does something to my soul.
So let's go back to this group.
Yeah,
to me, if your gun is shooting like that in 2025,
that's
not good.
No, and I hate to say it, but I mean that for the BARs, that's about standard. Now that Browning X-Bolt Long Range Pro that she has, that sucker shot lights out. But the only problem with it is when you torque everything down, you better not go over that 18 inch-pounds on the base. The front 2 screws on that X-Bolt, it might even be the front 4, but the front 2 for sure go over the barrel the tenons on the barrel, and they'll bottom out. If you go 20 inch-pounds, it's going to rip them screws right out because it bottoms out on the threads. And learned that one the hard way. But yeah, so they had a bunch of them going back. When we sent that one back, they had like 7 or 8 going in the same deal. So that's why we use a torque wrench. Recommend a screwdriver torque wrench on everything when you mount.
Yeah, I would say anything firearm related, use a torque wrench.
Yes.
100%.
Yep.
And read your manual.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually read the manual on these things.
They still come with manuals?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I know all of us, anytime we see a manual.
Yeah.
I know more than it. My 48 weeks of expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out I'm sending back my scope and everything else I broke because I over-torqued everything.
Yeah. Dude, it happens. It happens all the time. All the time. That over-torque kills them.
Yeah, because Night Force even tell you on their scopes it's 4 foot-pounds.
That's on the
I'm just saying inch pounds.
Yeah, that's on the you and your math. That's on the turret.
It's not my strong suit.
Yeah,
but
on
I'm
the
just
zero
saying,
stop.
You got to be careful with anything you do, especially it doesn't need as much as you think.
Yeah,
everything is over torque.
I was told originally 12 inch-pounds. Didn't read the manual, but I was told 12 inch-pounds. And then we had one here the other day. Maybe I say the other day. It was before last hunting season. And the guy came in, and the turret was stuck. Like, you'd undo all 4 screws, and the turret would still click no matter which way you went. So I called Night Force. I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on. And they kind of tried to walk me through it. And they're like, well, how tight did you go with the screws on the clutch? I was like, 0. I just loosened them. It came from you. And so anyway, they kind of walked me through it. But they were trying to be quick to say it, but he wanted to make sure that I knew it was 4 inch-pounds. Don't go over 4 inch-pounds on those screws. But we got it. Yeah. Got it loose. It was just stuck, just new and stuck. And we have only had one other one since then do that. But they've all
zero stop adjustment on a Night Force is
legit.
Easy.
Yeah.
I like the Leopold too.
Yeah.
Leopold's
super easy.
Zero stop is real easy to adjust.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Some of the other ones get to be a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Arkin's easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to take it off of the screws or top. It's quick.
Yeah.
You know,
the
more difficult ones are, isn't it?
Miopta.
Yeah, the Miopta.
Miopta, you needed an engineering degree to figure that sucker out.
Yeah.
I hate them when I see them walk in the door because it's just long enough for me to forget how they went. You know, any other scope that just about that walks through there, I can go through, all right, boom, 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 and I got it zero stopped. Especially the Vortex are easy with the ring, and even the new the Gen 2s, no, the Gen 3s.
Gen 3s,
yeah. They're super nice too.
Yeah.
I had to hard-headedly learn the wrong way. I just take it and dial it, and then I'm like, well, now I got to go back and readjust because I screwed it up. But anyway, that happens. But I mean, I would say the easiest on the market would be the one on the Vortex Venoms and the just there. You take a little flathead screwdriver, take the top cap off, rotate it till it stops, put it back on.
Yeah.
And that's super easy. Night Force is right there with them. Take your 2 side screws out, pop it up, loosen 4, spin it to where it needs to go, lock it back down.
The crazy thing about the Night Force is it's machined so well. The vacuum.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they got that gasket in there. Yeah, when you pull that sucker off,
or you
feel like you're tearing something up.
Or if you don't have the screw all the way in and it's just barely on threads, and you go to push it down.
Yeah,
it's like nobody move.
Yeah.
There's a screw somewhere.
Fritz is on all 4s, and nobody wants to see that. Everybody out.
Happened last night when I was doing my coup de grace action.
Oh yeah.
Changed my firing pin for the first time, and
fling.
I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, I've done that maneuver.
Thank goodness it was the coup de grace.
Yeah,
and nothing else.
When we built our room at our gun room at the store, they were asking, man, what do you want? You want carpet or do you want tile or what do you want in here? And I was like, man, let me think on that for a minute. I was like, man, carpet sure would deaden all that sound. And then I was like, no, carpet will never work. For one, for the screws and small springs, and then all the sprays and lubes and oils and everything we use. I'm like, yeah, that ain't gonna work. We're in a smaller room, but yeah, it'd have been a mess. What?
It's a gun store, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, boy. This is a family show.
Yes, sir.
But weight on the rifle.
Yeah, weight.
So I mean, there's a bunch of different. I mean, the heavier you go, the more you can stay on target. You know, that's why the PRS guns weigh 20, 30 pounds or
25 pounds. My gun weighs 25 pounds.
And a hunting rifle, you want to go as light as you can go. And there's certain ones that you can go certain weights and lightness, you know, going down on weight before you start getting the crap beat out of you. You know, we learned that with some of the stocks that we brought out west, and man, they're cutting chunks out of your cheek. And it's not that they're any lighter. Like I just called the shop to verify some weights because I didn't have it on my phone, but the stock that we use is 1.94 pounds. Okay. And one of the newest, lightest weight stocks on the market is 2.01 pounds. Just weighed both of them side by side in our shop. That's what they weigh on our scale. So the one we use is slightly lighter than the other one, not by much. And I think he said the action screws were in one of them. Mm-hmm. So it could have been dead even. Mm-hmm. But one of them has a better balance point than the other one. The one we use has a better balance point. Like we learned that in New Mexico. Mm-hmm. The one we used that didn't have a good balance point would reach up and slap you in the face. Mm-hmm. And then the
300 PRC on this light pseudo sort of chassis / stock was whipping us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody that shot it. I mean, nobody, like we were shooting 2,200 yards with it, which is awesome. But nobody wanted to keep doing it because it was beating the crap out of us.
Yeah. And this is a high end company. We're not going to name drop, right?
No. It's absolutely great. It has its purpose.
Right. Yeah. Great company. It has its purpose, but that just goes to show too that, you know, the company can be really, really, really good.
Right. Substantial company.
But, you know, the ergonomics and the way it feels and how snappy it is.
Well, and everything's got a purpose. I mean, you sit there and when I bought my Bagheera Premium, it came with the chassis was that the Element or the XLR? It was the Element.
Yeah, Element.
And I thought it was going to be great, and that's what I wanted to hunt with. It was foldable stock. It was a backpack gun. It was going to be light. Mm-hmm. But as a hunting gun that we typically use in, you know, the situations that we're hunting in, I didn't like the chassis. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I went more to I changed it, pulled it, put a stock on it, pulled that chassis and put it on I did put it on my 300 PRC, but the difference is I'm going to be using that 300 PRC at the range on a bench, using a bipod, be able to manage recoil a lot more rather than a hunting rig. But I think point being, every gun / chassis / stock combination has its purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
No doubt.
Yeah, I'm not saying that other one's a lesser build, but it was that day.
Yeah.
You know,
it has its purpose.
Yeah, and like I said, they weigh almost identical. Just one has a better ergonomic build to it, and it is a stock. It's a stock versus a chassis, but that stock has a better feel to it. For when I say what I mean by that is recoil management. I'm not saying I'm some guru on it, but I can handle recoil pretty well
no doubt.
Because I'm built a little different.
Well,
little?
Yeah, I'm tiny.
Little different.
Little different.
Hold up. Put your hand out there, buddy.
Yeah. I can manage it a little better than most. And
tell us what you think, Chubbs.
What I mean by that is I'm better on the recoil management. I can stay on target better, and it's because I'm 320 pounds. Not, I don't know what, $108.
120.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, 140.
140 in your dirty diaper.
Heck yeah.
Poor Chris.
I know. You see, they pick on me because I'm lean and mean.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes going up a mountain,
Shut up, Chris.
I'm gonna smoke you every time.
You little anemic rascal. He did. But anyway, but that on that stock, I can get behind it better. And it's not just me; it's just the ergonomics of the stock. The recoil is felt different on it. You can't get rid of recoil, but the way you absorb it can be different. That stock is just more ergonomic.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, and some of it's still I don't understand why a lot of these. It's a whole nother topic, but your stocks, the IOTA stocks, have a little bit better recoil pad, and some of those
it's a limb saver.
Yeah, some of these stocks have better recoil pads. Why some of these manufacturers are not spending better money on recoil pads?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it's just crazy that I me, I like Graybow.
Mm-hmm.
Graybow's recoil pad is phenomenal. Love it, and yours is good. It's why some of my Brownings you come and it's as hard as
or they break down. They break down so easily. I forgot who else had some that were just falling apart. They're tacky. They're sticky. They're just nasty. And same as some of the stock coatings. The ones we use have and I'm not going back to the ones we're using. There's a lot of them that use this process now. They're sponge painting them or whatever. They're not putting that. What was it?
It was the Duracoat.
Duracoat. That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
I had to send one. No, I just changed the stock because the Browning. Well, it was a class action lawsuit with the Browning Duracoat where they did a recall and they took them all back and replaced them.
Yeah. I think Garrett has one on his, but we don't shoot our guns anymore. That's in the safe, so I don't know if it's got a problem with it or not. But matter of fact, I'm almost certain that thing has a Duracoat on it. But yeah. So and guys, when you store your guns too, everybody goes upright with them in the safe. What happens when you go upright with them, especially after you clean them? So that's part of the breakdown issue. There is the oil running from the action that you just cleaned, going all the way down on that recoil pad, and that's the greasy, nasty feeling that you're getting is exactly what you just put in the gun before you put it up. So if you're going to store it after cleaning, I know the safes don't do it, but they need to be parallel, not horizontal.
Why you see a lot of expensive guys with gun rooms have them all displayed on the wall. And clean them and stick them up, put a parallel.
Yep. So
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yep. Now you know.
Yeah, which mine are like this in the safe, but because I don't have
mine too. But I don't clean them.
There's a difference.
About to say you're the worst example. For gun care.
Yeah. Well, I want to find everything's breaking point. So I do get a lot of flack on that, but I want to use them and abuse them and find out, because I want to be able to, when I talk, I want to be as educated as I can on it. So I want to use them and abuse them until they break, and then, hey, this is what broke, this is why it broke, and go on to the next one.
No doubt, and especially because you're hunting, right? Hunting industry, you want to see what the breaking points are going to be, and you can drag that gun, drop it, drag it through the mud.
Absolutely.
Not recommended, but
but I mean,
it'll get by.
Yeah, I would send them down the side of the mountain and everything else. And just see what works and what doesn't work. I can tell you what worked every time I've done it. The old Night Force. The old Night Force has done good.
No doubt.
And guys, if you can come to the range, let's fill out some paperwork for a suppressor.
I don't know if y'all can really hear it or not, but yeah, we're at an active gun range.
Yeah, we are live, and it's coming to the end of the day. But I'm just joking about that, guys. Just come shoot. I don't care what you bring. Just come shoot. We're going to give you flack about not having a can, but we can also fix it if you don't like flack.
You can try one out and run it.
That's it. Come use it.
Come use it.
Come use it. Come use
Free
it.
of
Come
charge.
use our guns too. Yep. What else we got?
I think that's it.
That's it. So
it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think for the most part we covered all the hot topics.
Foundation of accuracy.
Yeah. The foundation.
And there's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah.
No doubt. But
we'll touch more again on the carbon versus steel. We would like to go back into that and just we'll save that for another show, but we'll revisit that.
Yeah.
And we'll do some shooting, some video, and put some theories, to the test on it, and we'll share it on here, speed runs or whatever. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode. Got any questions? Want to see us do something? You want to be on here? Like I said, we'll do a vetting process, but we love to have you.
Must be weak.
It's poor.
Not much.
It's poor right now.
Little do he pays to be on there.
We got him out here with a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, guys, thank you for watching. We appreciate you supporting the channel. Like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.